Yo, Tommy, open up!
Welcome to The Rebound, Australia's #1 business show that wakes up the entrepreneur in all of us.
The tools of business have changed, but the principles, they remain timeless.
And we are your hosts, Steve Sammartino, Tommy McCubbin, Rad Yo, and Bertie Ocampo.
We are going to bring together business and technology to empower you.
This is The Rebound. Strap yourself in. Sammer, today's episode's about growth. How much has the business behind The Rebound grown over the past year?
So much. New content being produced all the time. We've got 8 episodes instead of 6. We've got more partners on board. The crew.
Thanks, Leah. And we've got twice the hosts.
Exactly. That's 100% human organic growth rate.
Well, that's assuming I'm 100% organic.
Right, you're not telling me you've merged with the machines.
I prefer the term enhanced.
And I'm enhanced with MSG.
All right, let's zero in. Today is all about growth. How to get your business from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 100.
And success isn't always exciting. Often it's just little decisions to do something like solve a problem.
Well, that's right. So Shopify's founder, Toby, wanted to launch his own online store, but didn't like the software at the time. So he built his own. Fast forward to today, Shopify has grown tremendously, and now we're global.
I've got a lot of questions about growth. I mean, should it always be the default? It's a huge topic.
We're going to answer them all, but let's start at the start with a history lesson. What makes humans special is we're always striving forward. To grow is part of our DNA. We are built to evolve and progress as a species, extracting and reorganising the value provided by nature. And the world of business is a direct extension of that. Just look at the vernacular: seed capital, yield, seasonality, and of course, growth. But history tells us rapid growth and profitable growth often comes at a cost. The Industrial Revolution produced trillions of tonnes of CO2. The chemical industry spoilt millions of miles of rivers. And big tech has damaged society irreparably. So, to grow is the dominant philosophy in business. In competitive markets where people, brands and companies compete for scarce resources, only the strongest and biggest survive. But this shouldn't be the default business strategy. We must decide where we want to be in the pecking order and how we want to get there. Be the ruler of our domain or hidden somewhere deep in a secret niche that we know best and can thrive in. When you think back to when the internet first arrived, it blows my mind that we waited a couple of minutes for dial-up. And then with broadband a little bit faster, 3G, 4G, each iteration got exponentially quicker. But given how much we rely on the internet today, seconds count. Whether you're trying to make a trade to ride a booming stock, sending a film for approval before a looming deadline, or in the life or death scenario of storming the beaches in COD with your mates, we can't afford to have any lag. And now 5G is here, lag is a distant memory. We're going to have our first truly on-demand internet life.
Once upon a time in South America, an out-of-town businessman was sitting on a pier one morning when a local fisherman moored his boat with a nice basket of fish. Admiring his catch, the man asked, "What are you going to do with those?" He said, "I'll sell a few at the market, take some home for lunch, and then go play guitar with my friends after we eat." The businessman said, "You should have stayed out longer, caught more fish, sell more, and eventually get a second boat." The fisherman said, "And then what?" "Well, you could employ more people, catch more fish, and get more boats." The fisherman said, "And then what?" "Well, you could keep expanding, grow to be the biggest fishing enterprise here, and eventually, with enough work, over enough years, go public and run a huge company." The fisherman said, "And then what?" Just then, the out-of-town businessman said, "Well, you'll be rich enough to go fishing and hang out with your friends all day."
Welcome back to Gardening Australia.
Okay, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial
Here we
here.
go, this will be good TV.
There's something in the world of startups and venture capital. It needs to be said. It's an industry that celebrates when a company's raised capital like they've already won. It drives me bonkers.
We've all seen the photo of the founders in their black tees in front of the brick wall.
Seriously, it's become this signal for growth, But that shouldn't be the default move for companies. Fundraising comes at a cost. What happens is you lose control, your independence, that gets compromised. Venture capitalists, investors, they only ever get married with divorce in mind. They want their exit. They need that final payday. And their business model relies on it.
I don't agree with that. Where would we be without venture capital? That capital accelerates innovation, and that fierce attitude and culture is the only way we can see game-changing innovation.
Okay, look, I agree, but let's bring it back to Gardening Australia, okay? Because growth needs to be a choice. So let's take what we've got here, which is the classic topiary, hey? Right?
Got one in my front yard.
Of course you have, it's beautiful, right? And this can be nurtured and kempt by its owner to be exactly the right shape that you want it to be, right? It's amazing, right? You shape it, you lovingly protect it and make it what you want to be. And this here, guess what? The same plant. But this one here, a few littler ones, and we shape these into your box hedge, okay? 5 little independent businesses. So it could be your retail stores or your dry cleaners, different shape, same plant. You know what else is really cool about this? This buxus, if you let it grow in the right conditions, can go 20 or 30 feet tall.
You choose what shape you want your business to be.
That's exactly it. It's the perfect analogy. So we need to be deliberate and objective driven in our businesses. So yeah, you can go for that $1 billion unicorn, but isn't business all about funding the lifestyle that you want?
Yeah, but you know what? If you want to change the world, call your local VC. After the break, we talk about how devices, data and living networks can help us grow into the business that suits us, not them. We'll see you then. G'day, how's it growing? Welcome back to The Rebound, the show that wakes up the entrepreneur in all of us. Now, this episode, as I said, is about growth, making sure your key numbers go up and up and up, just like they did for our next guest.
Founders Andy and Hayley decided to create the Sheet Society after being unable to find the perfect sheet. With humble beginnings of a shared office, news of the best night's sleep ever spread, and scale was the order of the day. Fast forward to 2021, and all fulfillment is done out of this warehouse, and there is no sign of slowing down. Until their bedtime, at least.
We're at the studio of the Sheet Society in Melbourne with Hayley and Andy. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks.
So today's all about growth. So let's just cover off the different milestones you've had to go through over the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, I guess the first stage in launching the business was figuring out, the product, and I've got a background in product design and development, so that was really my jam. And then the second stage is kind of building out that brand and that marketing piece. Do people want to buy what we're selling? And then the last stage, which we've just kind of come out the back of, is a warehousing piece, the operational side of things that isn't, I guess, the pretty side, but it really is the key to making sure the business functions.
So you generally have 2 choices, to seek outside investment or grow organically. Which one did you guys choose?
We really enjoy working, and so it was important to us to really make our own decisions, and we didn't want to be answerable to anyone. So we're bootstrapped from day one, and we would hope to be for quite a time.
Yeah, the focus is absolutely on making sure our customers are happy and making sure our team are happy, rather than us having to please shareholders and other things like that.
So with growth comes risk. And what's your appetite to risk? Are you more proactive and optimistic, or are you a bit more hesitant and reluctant?
I'd say Haley's very much the let's just go for it. Doesn't matter what happens. And then, okay, well, let's have a look. Let's make a forecast. And there'll be decisions that will be around, we need to get to this point until we can make these investments, or do we have to make these investments so we can get to that point? And it depends on the situation.
I think you need both types of outlooks too in a business.
What advice would you give to a company that feels like they're ready, but they are hesitant to make that move?
I think, growth is such a big term and it kind of implies that you have to do everything at once. But for us, like we spoke about before, it's about the different stages and what you need to level up to then grow. Is it your operations? Is it your marketing? And what can you focus in on?
Yeah, that's it. You can't just put all your eggs in sales and marketing without making sure your back-end operations taken care of as well. So I think it's about making those incremental growth stages across all your business so the whole grows together rather than just chasing one particular element.
So from the start, you guys have been growing with Shopify. Tell us a bit about that experience.
They've been there from day one, from when we were making $10, $20 a day, or even less pre-start. And it's one of those systems that we've really grown with. We've had apps and we've had other cloud software that we've outgrown as we've grown, but Shopify's been there from the start. And they're continually developing what they do, so we're always finding more value out of that platform. I mean, particularly when we open retail stores and they add their POS solution as well.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Haley. Guys, jump on the sheetsociety.com.au. They are the best sheets. Check it out.
This message is really short on purpose. We don't have to tell everyone every detail of a story because most people do the extended mix in their head, like you're doing right now.
Have you got a burning question for me? I'm here to answer all of your questions. It's Bertie, Bertie. I'm Bertie from Shopify, and this is Burning Questions with Bertie. Our business is growing, but I get overwhelmed doing a million different tasks every day. How do I simplify things? This is a great question, and you're not alone. There are definitely a million and one things you'll have on your to-do list. So remember this. You are only as productive as your processes. Having the right systems and processes in place is key to the success of your business and your time management. Ask yourself these questions. Do I have a process document? If not, make a nice one for you and your team, or future team, to refer back to. Do I do this set of tasks often, and is there a process in place for this? If not, make one. Publish it in your processes document. Did something go wrong? So is the process wrong, or was there a process in place at all? Can this be automated? If so, automate it. There are a bunch of useful apps you can use. We'll publish a list through Shopify's toolbox found on the Rebound website. I want to start selling globally. What is my best bet? Your online store gives you the ability to sell to every corner of the world. However, many online merchants continue to shrug off this opportunity due to the logistics of cross-border fulfillment. But if you can get over that hurdle, there are numerous advantages and a bigger slice of revenue just waiting for you. Of course, expanding into international markets isn't without its challenges. If you're considering or preparing to open up your e-commerce store to international consumers, there are several things to keep in mind. We've made a list of the 12 main considerations, and you can find it in the Shopify toolbox on the Rebound website. It's a pretty daunting list. If it does seem too daunting for your business, maybe you could double down on your local sales and try and take some more market share. Either way, head to the Shopify toolbox to check it out.
Welcome back to The Rebound, the show that wakes up the entrepreneur in all of us. Now it's time to roll up our sleeves and start building. This is Fast Track Hacks, powered by Optus 5G.
Old products, new markets. Cut new ground. Take your existing successful product to a similar customer set in a new geography. It's the oldest trick in the growth handbook. If your formula works, take it further.
Now, reverse what Sama just said. Extend your range to existing loyal customers. Same people, more options. Fast-moving consumer goods are world champs at this hack. Just look at how many types of potato chips and shampoos come from the same companies.
Get high on OPM. That's right, other people's money. It could be a bank, venture funding, or even customer pre-orders. When your growth prospects are solid and demand is high, money is much easier to get. Here's a hack made possible by Optus. If it can't be measured, it can't be improved on. Make sure you set up simple analytics in real time, which can be accessed on any device, anytime. With fast feeds on key metrics delivered to your devices, we can react faster than our competition.
It's a common saying that bigger is always better. Bigger houses, bigger salaries, bigger dreams. Everyone wants more and they want it now. The same principle applies to businesses. Why run a roadside store when you can have a corner store? Why have a corner store when you can have a department store? But while size can be rewarding in the short term, growth can cause problems if it happens too quickly. Take, for example, Aussie chocolate company Hey Tiger. The business sold amazing handmade chocolates with fun flavours like whiskey and smoke or Davidson plum and pepperberry. Not only that, they were dedicated to bringing ethical and sustainable practices to the chocolate industry, which is plagued by deforestation, overconsumption and child labour. The chocolate they produced was delicious, and Hey Tiger drew in tons of customers willing to pay a premium for its innovative flavours. But the chocolate was so good and demand so high that the company grew too quickly and couldn't scale up and turn a profit while also being sustainable. Eventually, Hey Tiger was forced to shut down, toppled by its own success.
Brisbane-based Entwine are pushing the possibilities of screens to their limits, allowing businesses across Australia to leverage Optus's living network, creating stunning visuals, interactive experience design, and real-time data feeds. So we're joined with Cameron from Entwine. Cameron, let's start with how the superfast 5G network has transformed the evolution of screens.
Look, the biggest change for us and the biggest impact is the fast network allows us to support 4K content to the 4K screens that are in the network. So we're really impacting by greater quality and better outcomes for our retail customers by having that really great image on the screens, and a super fast internet, flexibility of 5G allows us to get that out there in real time.
And how are your screens changing the in-store experience for customers?
I think a great example of that is our recent Optus store in Queen on Queen in Brisbane. We've got an amazing array of screens in there, but the feature wall is a 15-metre LED. In behind that wall, we have a range of video cameras, and those video cameras are looking for data points onto the customers. So we can identify age, gender, dwell time, and then we feed that data back into the system to cast and host content that's relevant to the shopper.
That content that gets put in front of the relevant customers, could they be retail offers?
100%. And a great example of that is when we see a teenage boy, for example, standing in front of one of those cameras, we put up information about prepaid plans. So we really tailor that shopping experience to retail outcomes.
So one of the major benefits of the superfast 5G network is it opens up the world of IoT, or the Internet of Things. And these trillions of sensors are going to be talking to your screens. What are some cool examples you've got around how that's happening?
Yeah, we're starting to see the relevance of machine learning with the use of sensors. So with superfast internet, we can connect everything from humidity to temperature, sliding door openings. So we can start to program how a retail space should operate its HVAC, how it's temperature controlled, right into staffing modules. So we're starting to see those sensors automate or smartly learn the best way to run retail spaces and public spaces that actually have a cost reduction in your overheads.
It's actually like almost having an extra staff member programmed to do certain things so that we can get on with serving people.
You're absolutely right. And the great thing is using the screen to visualize what they're doing means that it's relevant. If all that stuff happens in the back in a server, people don't understand it. But by being able to visualize the saving, the environmental impact, those kind of things, it's part of your corporate social responsibility these days. And we're seeing heaps of that being done in retail.
And it feels like a natural evolution beyond the screen is in the augmented space. What sort of innovations are you seeing around AR?
Yeah, look, it's a big part of what we see as the future. It's very early days at the moment. Being able to virtually pick a colour of your car, the mags that you want on it, the trim that you want of it, those things are here now. They will be more commercially available very soon. So AR, with all those sensor points coming in, is going to be really exciting in the retail space.
Thanks for joining us, Cameron. It's amazing to see what the Optus 5G network is capable of.
Sure is.
Keep an eye on Entwined. It's a super interesting company. Welcome back to The Rebound. Today's episode was all about growth. Now, we learned how growth at all costs, that can come at a cost, and the tactics that will minimise the risk and maximise effectiveness. So let's get growing. It's time for Sama's monologue.
There's no doubt that growth provides strength in business. A bigger tree has deeper roots, and business people genuinely enjoy the challenge of seeing how big they can get. But size for the sake of it, without a reason, it's not the point. It can be a mirage, a distraction from why we went into business in the first place. We can play it smart, grow to a size which suits us, our staff, our customers, and our lifestyle. In business, we get to choose how big we want to be. And in a modern world where highly profitable niches are possible, it might be worth ignoring the growth at all costs convention.
A transcript of today's episode is available on the Rebound Dropbox folder, which you can find on the website, thereboundtv.com.
And while you're at it, check out our Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube for stacks of additional content, and chuck us a cheeky follow while you're there.
That's right, Bertie, a little cheeky one. Thanks to you, thanks to Rad, and to you, Tommy. Hey, don't forget, people.
Don't forget, big thanks to our sponsors, Shopify, Dropbox, Optus, Toyota, Microsoft, and Reveal Group.
Next week, we take that away from Sama and instead look at the future of work and question whether the 9-to-5 office is really the model that gets the best out of you. I think Dolly Parton has a few things to say about that.
This is an office.
A space like this is the future of work. You feel like something's going to happen.
Pivoting to a remote workforce requires a different mindset.
This has been The Rebound. We're going to see you next week.